What happened, Mr. World 2024? Let's talk about it. Hello, everyone. My name is George from Pageant Empress. I'm a pageant analysis, commentary, and here back with you guys to talk about new pageantry. In this case, it's talk about the biggest male pageant, which is the Mr. World that happened last weekend in Saturday in Vietnam. A big congratulations to Mr. World 2024 Daniel Major from Puerto Rico for winning the coveted title of Mr. World. The reason I'm doing this video is actually because a lot of the contestants wanted me to do the video about this. They saw my previous video about my prediction, and I had actually a lot of the contestants who placed in the competition and some who did not place. They suggested me that why don't I talk about the competition, my feedback about this competition. So yes, I'm going to talk about it. I actually really liked the show. It was quite long, but I did thoroughly enjoy watching the production of the Mr. World competition. Vietnam is a fantastic host country. They have been host country for many competitions like Miss Grand International recently, and they have been also host for other competition, and they have done a phenomenal job in terms of production. So for me, there is no complaints. It's just good things. A lot of this fantastic, phenomenal stage production that they did. So I'm very impressed with how they did manage to do the pre-activities, the quarantine, and of course the other activities like top model, beauty the purpose, head to a challenge, all those things that they did conducted previously and the preliminary competition, the national costume that is. And I thought it was beautiful. They did a fantastic job. So if Vietnamese people are watching this video, a huge round of applause. You have a beautiful country, rich in culture, and the production team, the Vietnamese local team who were organizers for the Mr. World competitions, they did a fantastic job, and I cannot wait to see other beauty pageant happening in Vietnam. Hopefully Miss International, because the new Miss International comes from Vietnam. I know you guys want me to talk about the continental system, which many of you are quite upset about, but I actually want to see the positive aspect about this because it makes competition quite fair. Because in the final top four, we have each continent has one representative. So one from Africa, one from Asia and Oceania, one from Europe, and one from the Americas. I actually think that is brilliant because in a lot of the competitions, we barely see representation from Africa. And I'm just going to say it the way it is. I think that's a brilliant idea. That is one of the reasons I watch Miss World, because in Miss World it's quite similar. So the one who makes it to the top five, a top seven finalists, they have from each of the continent. First Mr. World was from Belgium, Tom. Then second is Sandro from Venezuela, Uruguay, Brazil, Spain, Ireland, Colombia, Denmark, India, England, and now Puerto Rico. So we have never had an African country when the closest they got was the first runner-up. Back in 2014, Nigeria was the first runner-up, and I believe that is and in 2019 with Faisal from South Africa, who is the new Mr. Supranational. Congratulations, South Africa. You did a great job. He was the first runner-up. So it is great that they have a continental system. If they did not have that, it would be quite difficult to have an African country placing so high. And this year we have Angola, Salvatore Crispel from Angola. So congratulations. I actually do like it. So what do you guys think of the format? Let me know in the comment section. I know they had a limited amount of contestants from Africa, so that is something they do need to work towards, having more representation from the African continent. I was really surprised that Australia did not make the cut of top five. I had him in my fifth position, so him not even making the top 20 for me was a bigger surprise of the event. And I'm sure a lot of you guys were also quite surprised that Mr. Australia did not make the cut because he is an international title holder. He won Manhattan International in 2022, previously in the Philippines. So I thought he did brilliant. He's really eloquent, quite outspoken. He was runner-up for the head-to-head challenge, so I thought he did brilliant. So I don't know why he did not place. I would have loved to see him in the top 20. Anyway, moving on to the top 20, looking at the list, so we had Argentina, Belgium, Italy. I thought Italy would have made further. So Bruno was in top 20, Lebanon, Mario El Haziz, very lovely. He's a true gentleman. He is really handsome, very masculine. I love Lebanese men. You guys know that. And I'm really happy to see Lebanon place quite high because recently Lebanon was the first runner-up for the Miss World competition held in India. So I think Lebanon this year did really good, remarkable in both Miss and Mr. World. To the whole of Lebanon, I hope you're doing well because I know recently you went through quite a devastating experience in Lebanon. So I wish you guys all the best. I'm sending you my love and support to Lebanon, who made top 20. The winner of Beauty the Purpose was Mr. Myanmar. I know a lot of people quite upset that Myanmar made the top 20, but we have to remember this rationally. Beauty the Purpose is the heart and the true cause of Miss World and Mr. World competition. He provided education, electricity to a very remote part of Myanmar, in a very remote village that is quite difficult to access through road. So for him to provide such good quality education facilities to the villagers in Myanmar, I think kudos to you, dude, because it's quite rare for male pageantry where we have social work. A lot of the time, people think, okay, beauty pageant, male pageantry, they think, oh, hot guy, six packs, great body, great face, he should win the Mr. World. That is not the case. Mr. World is very different from other male pageantry where they focus more on humanitarian work, like social advocacy. I do not like when people put other countries down just because your personal country did not win or place higher. In terms of Puerto Rico, I'm actually really happy he won the Mr. World competition because we have to keep in mind Mr. World is very different from other male pageantry. A lot of people's perception about male pageantry is that okay, he has to be hot, he has to be handsome, he has to have six pack, great body, great physique, he has to be like 6'4". However, it is quite different for the Miss World competition because the Miss and Mr. World organization, they're looking for a man with a mission, with a goal, a drive, a leader who could bring a new perspective to the Mr. World organization, especially through their philanthropic work. That is something that Mr. Puerto Rico has been doing relentlessly for the past 10 years, especially growing up in a family where he has seen through a lot of hardships, where his mother has went through devastating disease, that him being there as a breadwinner of his family, providing for them financially, that shows he's a true leader. He's a true hero, superhero. That is something you cannot just have six packs, go to the gym, get a great body. Nothing wrong with that, but that doesn't mean you should win a Mr. World. A Mr. World is someone who has a beauty with a purpose, someone who has social work, and that is something that Mr. World Daniel Major showcased. Also, him winning the Mr. Talent, where he has impeccable, incredibly beautiful, magical, wonderful voice. That is something when I listen to him sing, it really touched my heart. It really touched that little George inside of me that was like, oh, when I look at pageantry, I'm a bit like, oh, is it only the handsome guy going to win? No, that was not the case this year. He is handsome in his own ways, and I think Daniel showcased everyone that he's changed that image of what does it mean to be a male pageant title holder. But I think that Mr. Puerto Rico showcased everyone that he is a new image, a new standard of what does it mean to be a Mr. World. Being a Mr. World, you have to help other people. And I'm really happy that he also won Mr. Talent and Mr. Sports. So not only is he quite talented, of course, he's handsome, he has done social work, he's also quite athletic. He's capable of doing track, running around, swimming, and all the other types of sports. So you could not even actually argue with me that he did not deserve to win because Puerto Rico gave a very eloquent answer in both rounds for the semifinals and the finals, and he speaks really well. Listen to his performance during the head-to-head challenge for you to understand truly what is the true essence of Mr. World, Daniel Major from Puerto Rico, because he truly redefined the meaning of being a beauty pageant title holder, especially for a male competition. And I'm really happy because I was reading through his bio. It says that he was born to Peruvian father and a Puerto Rican Spanish mother. So he comes from a very diverse, multicultural family. And I know a lot of Peruvian people also watch my videos. So I hope you're happy. He's half Peruvian, Puerto Rican, and Spanish. So he's multi-talented who can speak three different languages, that is English, Spanish, and French, which means when he goes to important places like the UN events or traveling to different countries, he can speak Spanish, French, and English, which are one of the most important languages around the world. So he can easily communicate with the local people, whether he's traveling in Africa, in the Latin America, or in Asia or Europe in general. So I think that's fantastic that Madam Julia and the whole of the Mr. World organization made a fantastic and excellent choice picking Puerto Rico as the number one Mr. World 2024. I think he deserves it. He's extremely talented. I mean, guys, just watch his performance. If you have good eyesight, just look at how he performed in the finals because he gave it all. He gave it his 100% to make sure that he is a deserving winner, which he is. So Puerto Rican people, me canta, me gusta. How do you say it? Uh, I love you guys in Puerto Rico. In Spanish, me gusta, right? Me canta. There we go. Me canta. Me canta Puerto Ricans. I love you guys. You know that. I love Puerto Rico. It's a beautiful, tiny island in the heart of the Caribbean. And I'm really excited to see his reign as Mr. World 2024. And he's going to travel to so many different countries alongside the Miss World of beautiful from Czech Republic, Christiana. I know she's going to be there. So yeah, I'm really excited. Also talking about the first runner of Vietnam, I think he absolutely deserves to be there. I know a lot of the people, especially some countries that did not make the top four, they were quite bitter regarding Vietnam placing as the first runner-up. For me, I see this as a great point of view, which is similar to Mr. Puerto Rico. Mr. Vietnam is also multi-talented. He is quite versatile in many cases. He is a host country, but except that, he's quite talented. I love his talent run when he was performing with the Vietnamese traditional instrument. I don't know the exact name for it, but it was really beautiful, very graceful and elegant the way he presents himself when he spoke during the top four question and answer round. Listen to his answer properly before you judge someone, before you go and judge saying, oh, Vietnam only placed because he was the host country. No, he was there because he had a purpose. Also, looking at the fast track event, that is something a lot of people kind of undermine, that they did not look at the performance at the fast track events. Looking at Mr. Vietnam and Puerto Rico, they both placed in almost all of them, including he was top 5 in the Mr. Talent, top 12 in top model, top 20 in head to head challenge, top 20 in national costume, and top 17 in multimedia challenge. So Vietnam is really intelligent. He's very smart, and he is a gentleman who's really capable of bringing change in his societies, where he has done a lot of philanthropic work, social work in Vietnam for the past 5+ years. And that shows that he's not just a handsome guy, he's a man with a purpose. I do think that Mr. Vietnam was the most strongest Asian contestant in this year's batch of Mr. World 2024, especially from Asia and Oceania. And if anyone disagrees with me, let me know in the comment section why you disagree with me. But I think he gave a fantastic performance. And similar to what I said previously about the fast track event, if you want to make sure that your contestant is truly deserving, just look at the performance they did during the fast track event. Looking at Mr. Puerto Rico's performance at the fast track events, where he won Mr. Talent, Mr. Sports, he was top 3 for the head to head challenge, where he talked about his social work. He was top 17 for multimedia and top 30 for the beauty of the purpose. So that is something not all the countries managed to do that. So before you judge and say that Mr. World is cooking show or Mr. World was not deserving, look back at how the contestants perform in each of these fast track events, because all the contestants, especially the top 3, they all had great performance. Spain, I think Spain absolutely deserves to be in the top 3, where he won the Mr. Europe because he was top 12 for top model, multimedia top 7, head to head challenge he was in top 20, and beauty of the purpose he was top 30. So he did place quite high in 4 of the head to head challenge, so he absolutely deserves to be there. The only one who made the top 10 from the voting was Mr. Sri Lanka, Meka, right? So Sri Lanka placed because of the popular vote, which is something that happens in almost every single pageant nowadays. The popular vote, so it's voted by the public. I was quite surprised not to see USA in the top 10, because I did think he'll be in the top 10. I know some people did not like that Turkey made the top 10 semifinals, but I'm really happy he's there because, first of all, he won top model, which is one of the most important fast track events. And number two, he was not getting a lot of support from his countrymen, especially the national organization, before competing for the Mr. World competition. But with his potential, his modeling experience, he showcased his potential that he's truly capable of becoming a top model. In the future, I can see him in Paris, London, New York, or even Tokyo, in these fashion capitals around the world. And he has a great body and physique too. And of course, the runway stage presence, he is incredibly talented. So for anyone who wants to say, oh, argue, saying, oh, Turkey should not be there, maybe you need to look back at how he performed and then reconclude what he just said, then come back. Because I feel nowadays some pageant countries, especially some pageant fans, not everyone, but there's some who are just so bitter that the country did not win and they automatically say it's a cooking show, it's a cooking show. For me, it's not a cooking show, because if your contestant deserves to be there, he will win a fast track event, or he will place really high in a fast track event and make it to the top 10 and then further on to the top 4 finalists. I want to talk about this because Mr. Philippines, Kirk Bondat, he talked about the format of the Mr. World that he did not agree with. So let's talk about it. He says in his Instagram post, for those who don't know, the top 20 up to the top 4 in the Mr. World are selected from each continental region. Americas and the Caribbean has one from Europe, one from Africa, and one from Asia and Oceania. At the end, each continent gets a continental winner. I understand the importance of representation, but I think the system feels a little outdated. It may sacrifice merit for inclusivity, and while that sounds fair in the theory, it can end up sidelining objectively stronger contestants. After all, this is a competition. Asia had a whopping 7 contestants in the top 20, and by that time, the top 10 were announced, only 3 spots were left. My personal bets for the top 10 from Asia were India, Vietnam, and myself. So that's Philippines. So that's 3 of them, his personal top three that he thought will make it. Right, top three from Asia, according to Mr. Philippines. I'm not counting out the top 10 spot, which went to the People's Choice Award winner. I had a strong feeling it would be my brother, Mega, Mr. Sri Lanka, standing to my right. I even told him, it's not me, it's you. It's you. If you watch the clip closely, you can see my lips approaching. So, when my friend Edge, Mr. Turkey, was announced to advance, I had a gut feeling my run was over. As much as I wanted to believe I had a shot, I knew that there was no way I'd take the spot over Mr. Vietnam, who, for the record, is up to be in the top 10, but it did make me wonder about the judging system. So, talking about Mr. World, it's quite similar to Miss World. If you're someone who follows Miss World, the format is the exact same, which is in the last round, the finalists are selected, each one contestant from each continental region, whether it's Asia and Oceania, Africa, Europe, and the Americas, which includes the Caribbean. So for me, I actually really like it because number one, if you want to be inclusive, you have to have one representative from each of the different regions because a lot of the time, especially in female pageantry, it is heavily dominated by one region, mostly the Latin American countries. And we saw that happen in the top 12 semifinals of Miss Universe 2024 in Mexico, where it was majority, except I think one from Nigeria, one from Denmark, one from Thailand. Rest of them in the top 12 from were Latinas. So 9 of them. And if you really want to talk about inclusivity, you need to mean it in the format. I do think Mr. Philippines is absolutely handsome, very charming. So if that's something he wants to do, that is follow his passion of going to pageantry, maybe go to Mr. Supranational. I do think he has a possibility to win Mr. Supranational crown as he is aspirational, inspirational. He has a very strong social media fan following, and of course he has a great physique. He's handsome. He's a handsome chap. We all know that, right? But I do not really agree with his post. I think this questioning the system of Mr. World organization, which I think is quite transparent. They gave the crown to the guy who had the best scores. He won 2 titles, Mr. Talent and Mr. Sports. So how could he challenge that judging system? So he says in the end, this post is not meant to stir the pot. I generally enjoyed sharing my thoughts and experiences through content. I know many of you are curious too. So here's my perspective, just keeping it real. I'm thinking of doing a live stream soon, recapping my passion experience. For me, the part he talked about Mr. Turkey making to the top 10 and him having this gut feeling that his run was over. I think Mr. Turkey deserves to be there. He won a fast track event, he won top model, and he gave a phenomenal performance. He has a bright future ahead if he wants to be a top model in the future. So I think being in pageantry, we need to uplift other people, whether it's men encouraging men, female uplifting female. So I think that we should do that because it does seem like even though he said he's not trying to, he says this post is not meant to stir the pot. It is stirring the pot because you're challenging the notion of the judging criteria from the panel of judges who are quite professional. Madam Julia and the Miss and Mr. World organization have been doing this competition for many, many years. They know exactly what they're doing. In the future, he might venture out to the pageantry like Mr. Supranational, which I will really support him when he goes there. Before Mr. Philippines questions the judging system, I think there needs to be a self-reflection and observation about his own performance before going in that direction. Because as much as I love Mr. Philippines, Kirk is really handsome. He is a dream. He looks like a prince. I do think he has a lot of weakness, especially in terms of communication skills, which we did witness during the head-to-head challenge where he did fumble. It felt like he talked about all his incredible achievements, but he did not talk about the essence, the true heart of Mr. World organization, which is beauty the purpose. I wish he talked about it because he said, I have done a lot of social work. What is the social work? What is the name of the beauty of the purpose? We did not hear any of that. Meanwhile, Mr. Puerto Rico did exactly that. He talked about how relevant it was. He spoke from his heart. He was sincere. For me, Mr. Philippines, as much as he's handsome, he really needs to understand this Mr. World competition. It's very different from other beauty pageants out there. In order for you to qualify and win an international title holder, which I know he will do it, I'm not even challenging that notion. I know he will win Mr. Supranational. Go listen to Mr. Puerto Rico's head-to-head challenge. He spoke from his heart. He was sincere, he was authentic, he was natural, and he was being genuine to himself. He talked about his struggles, his personal experience. Mr. Puerto Rico to be so vulnerable in front of millions of people who are ready to challenge him, to put him down, pull his leg, and be negative towards him. For me, I have went through quite similar experience. As a YouTuber, I put my face out there. I get judged all the time. And even in this video, I'm pretty sure if I get any negative comments, you guys are proving my point, because I know there will be some people out there who will say, "Oh, George, you're not good looking enough. Why are you talking about Mr. World?" I'm a pageant commentator, and my job is to make sure that I portray and I visualize and I present to you my ideas with transparency, a sense of honesty. So I actually think Mr. Puerto Rico being vulnerable in front of millions of people out there who are so ready to judge him for just talking about his weakness, his experience of not coming from a privileged background. He comes from a very humble, down to earth family where he had to be the breadwinner of his family to provide them with financial stability and just be there to make sure that his family is being provided. Him working from a young age, that really shows that he is a leader. He is capable of leadership skills and a transformational leader who is capable of helping his family, his nation, and he has also done a lot of different social work in Puerto Rico. I want to finish this video on a positive note by saying that beauty is subjective. And just because someone does not fit into your idea of a beauty standard of a male pageant winner, it does not mean you can challenge and be negative towards the winner of Mr. World, because he showed to everyone why he deserved to be Mr. World. One thing we as pageant communities we sometimes forget, because we are so much focused on the physical aspect, that we overlook this: having a good heart, having good social work, someone who has empathy, kindness, and transparency to make sure that they are there to help other people. And that is what Mr. Puerto Rico showcased everyone. So that is something I would like to say, and I cannot wait to listen to him sing with this angelic, beautiful voice. He has a voice of an angel, so I'm really excited to hear him sing. Maybe with Tony and sing Miss World 2019. Maybe a duet would be great. Collab with Miss World. What do you think? What do you think in the comment section, guys? Let me know. So that was the end of this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on Mr. World 2024. What do you think of the overall results, the production? And if you enjoyed watching this video, first of all, thank you so much. Hit the like button, share this video on your social media, subscribe to this YouTube channel to see more videos like this. And I'll see you guys soon in my next video, which will be all about the pageant of the year for 2024. And thank you so much for watching this video, and we can start a discourse in the comment section. So yeah, let me know, what do you think? We can start a conversation, but keep it nice, okay? Keep it positive as much as possible. Until next time, I see you guys again in my next video. So bye bye from Pageant Empress. Bye bye.